Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you guys can tell by the title, this is a kind of like different side of this channel that I'm exploring, and it's kind of like an advice slash just like, giving advice and making you feel safe video. And obviously I'm gonna be speaking about how some friendships expire, or how outgrowing friendships sometimes can be just a little bit hurtful, but how it's good. It's good for you to outgrow friendships, and some patterns that you need to notice, and that also I have noticed myself in my own friendship. So it's obviously an advice video, but I'm also speaking from recent experience and experience myself. And obviously, it's always gonna be a process that's gonna be really hard to go through because friendship breakups are really hurtful. Um, but yeah, we're just gonna be talking about this in this video. So I've written down a couple points that I'm going to be addressing in this video. So that's what I'm going to be looking at my computer as I go. So friendships are I don't know what's wrong with my voice today. Friendships are definitely something that just it's something so amazing. It's wonderful. It's amazing to see two people who never know each other who get along based on a lot of common different things. Sometimes differences bring people together. Friendships is something that everyone craves, whether we like it or not. Personally, I was somebody who, growing up, I didn't have a lot of friendships. I was kind of like the isolated child. And obviously, like, growing and getting into high school and having my first group of girls was obviously like the most exciting things ever, because you feel like you're finally part of a group. You're finally like you I finally felt like I fit in, like I was really, part of um part of a group circle with people. Like, I felt included. Obviously, like, growing up being excluded in a lot of different contexts, I just felt like, okay, finally I'm getting included. And obviously, like, I feel like we've all gone through that stage where you feel like that's going to be your group of girls from today until like the day you die. Like, there will be no breakup, that you guys are going to stick together forever. Even going into university, like, I kind of like came in with that same mentality. Oh my gosh, like, we are all mature individuals and there is nothing that can separate us, and that's going to be my group of girls literally until I leave this establishment. But unfortunately it's false, and unfortunately sometimes you're going to outgrow people, and sometimes people are going to outgrow you. And it's okay, it's all part of life, but there's definitely things that I've noticed lately that is kind of like, it's really hurtful, but it's patterns that you really have to pay attention to, because not everybody is your friend. um and one thing is, definitely paying attention to small patterns, little things that you probably tell yourself, oh my gosh, like, that means nothing. You really have to pay attention to these patterns, because in people will do things, subtle things, intentionally to definitely test how far they can go with you until they can push you to your limit. I was always somebody who just never stood up for myself, so people did feel like they could really intentionally push my buttons to a certain point. People will try to push you, and that excuse of, oh my gosh, I'm just nice, or oh my gosh, I just don't know how to defend myself, which is something I used for myself for such a long time, it's just not going to hold, because you have to get to a point where you have to stand up for yourself, and you have to speak up of things that bother you, because if you don't, you're just going to keep getting walked on your entire life. Small patterns, and something that I have personally noticed, even in my own friendships, even this year, even last year, recently, everything, is people will make jokes that are supposed to be quote unquote funny, but they're hurtful jokes that actually target something serious. So it could be something you told them, or it could be something they feel like they can kind of like get a one up on you, and they will make it out of a joke to kind of like provoke you or to get a reaction out of you. And I've noticed it, like, it's patterns. Like, it's never really, oh, like, these people will keep pushing it, especially if you don't speak up the first time. They will keep pushing it. They will keep pushing those buttons to see how far can they actually go without you saying anything. And from my experience, for somebody who, obviously, it's taken us such a long time for me to actually finally get to the point where I stand up for myself. um The solution was for me to quietly distance myself, to silently take a distance from these people, because these people are just not. They're not your friends. They're not your friends. Something else is obviously telling people your dreams and your plans and things that um, you're planning on doing or you plan on evolving. Like these are things you need to keep very brief or just not say at all. I've experienced trying to tell my friend, "Oh my gosh, like I have this YouTube channel that I've had." By the way, I've had like about 3 YouTube channels. Um, Currently, I have 2 right now that I'm actually uploading on and I'm active on, including this one. But the third one is kind of inactive. I don't really use it anymore. But back when it was active, I would tell my friends, like, I would basically tell everyone, "Oh my gosh, like I have a YouTube channel. Like, I have a YouTube channel that I post videos on, I post vlogs on." And then I would get subtle shady comments about my channel, like, "You're never gonna make it," and things like that. That obviously, like, people in the moment, you're too startled to actually like reply, and in a moment, obviously, like everybody's gonna laugh and it's supposed to be a joke. But if it's something like, and I know a lot of people also like to say, "Oh my gosh, like you're being sensitive, like it's just a joke." If it's a joke that you don't like, if you feel uncomfortable, then it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's not because everybody's laughing or people around you are laughing or the person who made the joke is laughing that it's acceptable. If you feel if you feel uneasy within yourself, you don't like the way it sounded, especially that it's something that means to you, then it's not a joke and it shouldn't be laughed at. But yeah, it's small things, or it could be like you tell somebody something that you've been planning on working on, and they either try to make it sound like they're competing with you, or they find a way to minimize how happy or how successful you feel about that thing you're working on. These people, it's just not good, because a friend is going to be somebody who's going to support you no matter how small or how big whatever you're planning to do is. Like, your friend is going to support you, and I'm not saying in cases like your friend, like sometimes like you may do things and your friends, like that's something also that I've realized, that your friends are not always going to be the correct audience for things you're working on, and that's perfectly fine, and that doesn't automatically mean that they're not your friends and that they're fake. For example, YouTube channel, I have so many of my friends that don't watch my videos, don't watch my YouTube channel, and I'm still cool with them. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna cut them off just because they don't watch my videos. Like, not my videos are not. That doesn't mean that they're my friends or they're my close friends. That they're necessarily the audience of my videos. So that's something different. But if you're telling your friend about something you've been working on, about something you've been planning to work on, about something you've been thinking about, and their first reaction is to either minimize it or make it sound like they're competing with you, then it's not really something that you should bring up again or ever. Like, I've decided to move in silence about a lot of things because I've seen a lot of patterns and I've seen a lot of subtle things that rub me the wrong way. And from there, I was just like, okay, like it's honestly better for me to keep everything for myself, to keep things super minimal and not talk about it, because not everybody deserves early access or just access to you. Even if you're to your friends, sometimes they're gonna say or do things that really shows you that, I gotta be careful. And one thing that I also needed to realize lately, and then sometimes it's really hard to come to realization, is that not everyone is meant to be your close or best friend. Some friends are just going to be surface level friends, and that's also okay. Not everybody's going to be your friend that you need to open up to, talk about life, talk about um, trauma, talk about deep things, talk about life goals. Not every friend is going to be that friend, and that's perfectly fine. Some friends are going to be surface level friends. Some friends are going to be your friend that you're going to see at school, hang out with at school, and that's it. Some friends are going to be some friends that you go to dinner with, and that's it. Some other friends are going to be your friends for all of the above, and some other friends are going to be your close friends. Not all of your friends are going to be friends that are going to be super close or super bestie or friends that you can talk about life with. Like, and that's unfortunate, and that's something that I've realized. I've realized based on the energy that I was given that, okay, so our friendship, that hasn't reached the depth that I thought it did. And it also like comes in point with overly investing in a friendship. If you feel like you're overly investing, in a lot of my even friendships to this day, where I feel like I'm overly investing too much energy, too much time, and I'm not getting the same energy or time back. It's time for you to realize, okay, like, it's still a friendship. Like, that doesn't necessarily equal to cutting them off, but it does mean that that friend we're not, like, it doesn't require as much energy as I thought. We're not as close as I thought. That's okay. It's sad. Boo-hoo. You might be sad about it for some time, but you have to realize it. The earlier you realize it, the better it's going to be for you. So that's something I've realized with a lot of my friendships. Like, some friends, you're really gonna open up to them, you're gonna talk to them, you're gonna try to tell them about things that you're going through, and you realize that it's never ever reciprocated. Like, they're never gonna ever talk to you about things that are deep and things that that's going on in their life, and that's not necessarily bad, but that's time for you to realize that you need to stop overly investing and overly putting energy into talking to them and telling them things that are really sacred to you and deep to you, because that's just not that type of friendship. It's just not that type of energy that type of friendship requires. And it's kind of sad because I've realized that more of my friendships than I thought are surface level friendships. And it's kind of like you realize that one friendship after the other, and it's like, damn. And a lot of friends, and something we don't talk about a lot is school friends. A lot of your friends are going to be friends that you're going to be super good with. You guys are going to click. You guys are going to get food together at school. You guys are going to maybe study together. You guys are going to hang out together at school. And then after school hours, you might, reach out to them or try to hang out with them outside of school. And then there's always an excuse or a reason. And that's when you need to start realizing that that's your friend for school. Like, that's your school friend, and that's it. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing, but you're overly investing in a friendship that's just not overly investing back. You're overly investing in a person that's not overly investing back, and they're not willing to. So that's one thing I've also had to realize, that there's a lot of friends that are just school friends. I see you at school, we talk at school, and then that's it. Or we limit school interactions, and then that's it. It's not more than that. But there's a lot of friendships that we need to realize around us are not meant to be deep friendships, and that's fine. That's okay. But the earlier we realize it, the better it will be. So, yeah, and I've also talked about sometimes like you're evolving, like sometimes with your friendships, like you feel like sometimes you can see the disconnect. Like, you will want to address certain topics, and they're going to be stuck on topics that don't necessarily align with where you are or where you want to be, and these are people you just need to invest a bit less energy into. um and that's fine. Like, if you, for example, you have a friend, and you're coming and you're trying to talk about your goals, or you're trying to talk about different things, and then that friend is always talking about drama, Monday night, afternoon, Monday through Friday, every single day. Maybe that's just not the type of friend you want to try to talk about your goals with, because it doesn't necessarily align. Does that mean you have to cut that friend off? No, it just means that maybe you've outgrown them on a different aspect, and it's just not the type of friendship that aligns with you at this moment. So maybe that will more be like a surface level friendship rather than a deep friendship. And also, I've mentioned distance a lot. Like, distancing yourself does not have to be dramatic. You don't need to confront the friend. You don't need to make an announcement. You don't need to post on social media, oh my gosh, no. You just need to take a step back. You need to give that person less access to you. And silently distancing myself is something that I've done with so many people, and that I do so much. People are not even going to realize that you've distanced yourself, because they're so caught up, or because they're just not aligned with you, so they don't realize, they don't pay attention. But you do. You pay attention to yourself, you pay attention to your vibe, to energy, so you silently distance yourself, and most of the time they don't even realize it. You just talk to them less, you reach out to them less, you hang out with them less, you initiate things with them less, sorry, and you just silently take a step back and evolve and go in a different direction. Like, it's just definitely like distancing yourself in a way that helps you feel better, gives you a little bit of relief. Silently distancing myself is something that I've done so many times, and I keep doing. Like I said, it doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be something such as, like, oh my gosh, I see that friend maybe 4 times a week. I'm always the one reaching out to that friend. That friend barely ever reaches out to me. Silently distancing yourself could be like, you just stop reaching out to them as much, or you will go from hanging out with them 4 times a week to 2 times a week to once a week. Or you go from reaching out to them 4 times a week to reaching out to them once every week or once every 2 weeks. Like it just goes like they can still be your friend. They're still your friend, but you just take a step back and you try to invest in friendships that align more with the type of person that you are or the type of person you're trying to be. Um, because if you stay with people who don't align with your friend, align with your goals and align with who you're trying to be and the way you're trying to evolve, then you're kind of like holding yourself back. And obviously, like when you start saving all that extra energy from these friendships that are super surface level, from these friendships that don't give anything back, from these friendships that are just kind of like a waste of your time, when you start saving all of that extra energy investing in these people, you're going to start saving that energy and you're going to be able to give that energy to people who really deserve it. You're going to find people who match you, people who put you first, not people you have to text every single day, people you have to beg every single day to hang out. No, you're going to find people who are going to choose you first, who are going to think about you, reach out to you, people who are going to be like, oh my gosh, where is this friend of mine? Like, I haven't seen her in such a long time. People who are emotionally different, emotionally intelligent, people who don't spend their time talking or having conversations that don't align with who you want to be. It's just going to be the same energy, but it's going to be different people. It's going to be more people. It's going to be people who give you back, and you're really going to feel yourself evolving and feeling yourself being around people who help you reach that. And if you have to ask yourself all the time after you're hanging out with a friend, like, was that shady? Was that a rude comment? Or was she talking about me? Was that, if you're constantly asking yourself where you leave the hangout with your friend feeling a bit tense, you feel a bit um sad, you feel a bit angry, you feel like, oh my gosh, like, was that a subtle attack towards me? Maybe it's your time to really reevaluate the friendship. And you would be shocked. You would think, oh my gosh, after high school, I don't have to deal with this anymore. Like, I don't have to deal with people who are going to be literally like a waste of my time. But unfortunately, in university, it's the same. You're going to deal with people who are extremely emotionally immature, or or with people who just don't align with who you're trying to be or who you're working towards. One thing in my friendships is me always having to reach out to people, always having to invest, always overly investing in people who see how nice I am or who see the type of energy I give and who know how much I love them, and just never kind of like take advantage of of the way I'm nice, but never invest back. They're like comfortable with the amount of energy that they get from me without ever having to reach and give energy back. And I spot these friendships so quick. Like, I sit back, I really dwell over it because it really makes me sad, and I reevaluate the friendship. And once I find it, I stop overly investing. And the amount of people you're gonna, and sometimes, like I said, distancing yourself, sometimes it's from your side. Like, you stop reaching out, you stop like overly investing and things like that. But the amount of people you're gonna naturally distance yourself from when you stop overly investing, when you stop being the one who reaches out, being the one who asks how they are, being the one who basically begs for a hangout, the amount of silent distancing that's gonna happen in your life with a lot of friendship with a lot of people, the amount of people you're literally gonna stop talking to when you're the one who stops texting, is you're gonna be shocked how much people care just don't care, and they're just comfortable with the energy you give, the amount of energy you give, because they know, oh my gosh, like, she's gonna reach out to me, she's nice, she's gonna keep, people just love testing your limits. But these are things that really help me evolve. Like, I'm working on myself, I have so many things planned, and I don't need to go announce it. I just know that I'm not gonna waste my time announcing it and putting energy into friendships that are not giving me anything back. Like, obviously, these people are still my friends and things like that, but it's more surface level. And now that I understand, it helps me be a little bit more at peace with myself, a little bit more relieved, because I'm just like, okay, now I know how to approach this. Now I know how to approach that. Working on myself, evolving, shifting, being in a better mindset, being better mentally as well. So that's kind of how it is. And friendships are kind of like relationships. Like, you're never gonna always get the first friendship right. Like, it's going to take a couple friendships before you really find the friends that are good for you, or the friends that align with who you are or who you're trying to be or the way you're evolving. And sometimes, like, evolving, like, you will just hear some people talk and you just know, like, why are we having this type of conversation, um But yeah, it's little things. It's just something I wanted to address, like, you know, like friendships, distancing and stuff. Like, and it's never gonna be perfect. Like, all through elementary school, high school, university, like we've all gone through friendship breakups and just evolving from people who just don't align with us, and that's how it's gonna be until you find people who put you first as much as you put them first, and don't take advantage of it. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys want more advice videos or want me to address other topics, just leave it in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in another lifetime.